Can I go? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Dave Chappelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I could talk to you about this privately. I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they X out the $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I am not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so that is a video, obviously, of comedian Dave Chappelle talking at this meeting that was being had in the area he lives in about a proposed affordable housing development. That video has, of course, gone viral because it appears certainly that Dave Chappelle is not only against the development of the affordable housing project, but is actually using the potential pullback from his proposed business developments in that area, which amount to quite a bit, to put pressure on them to not allow this. Now, I have been doing all that I can to try to get as much information about this, including going to, reporting on prior meetings several months ago about this. And I am a little bit worried about some of the coverage stating very specifically, he doesn't want affordable housing, so he's killing it. I think there is certainly it is open to that interpretation, particularly because he has not actually made clear since this video has gone viral what it is that he specifically opposed. If the coverage is misinterpreting his opposition to the program, there hasn't been a clarification. So at this point, though, it isn't actually going to happen. Now, I want to give you a little bit more background information. In this area, he was proposing opening up a comedy club and a restaurant in Yellow Springs in Ohio. Now, he lives in the area. He frequented this particular area as a child, and he threatened to remove what he was going to be building if they didn't go along with this. He had previously said back in December, I just want to say I am adamantly opposed to it. I have invested millions of dollars in town. If you push this thing through, what I'm investing is no longer applicable. And ultimately, the village council did vote 2-2, which was enough to kill the proposed development. Now, instead of being sort of a mix of single family homes, duplexes, and townhomes, and area that would later be developed for affordable housing, it will instead just have 143 single family homes, which are believed they will start at about $300,000 each. So understanding that there's a bit of ambiguity to this potentially, Brian, what do you make of this?
Well, first I should make this disclaimer. I was born in Dayton, Ohio, right next door to Yellow Springs. So that makes me, in other words, completely unqualified and partisan in this argument. I don't know, Dave Chappelle is like this lightning rod now. He's super clickbaitable. Everyone likes to jump on him and for anything because of his most recent transgressions against whatever. But I know these zoning meetings are, and this was like a zoning meeting where they go in and they change the classification of a neighborhood or a section in your town so that it can be developed permanently as this zoning thing. And I went to one of these zoning things in my own neighborhood because my 7-Eleven wanted to put in a gas station in the 7-Eleven just down the street. And I live in like a really super residentially not affluent area, but they wanted to put in a gas station. And it wasn't so much like I was just opposed to this idea of a gas station because then it would permanently change that section to more gas stations and more. So I'm wondering what it is. Well, it's hard to say what it is he's opposing. You don't really know. But I was attacked at my meeting for saying I was against gas. I was very anti-gas, and I wasn't. I'm all for gas, folks.
You're not a radical environmentalist or something?
I'm just like, I don't know if I want 16 gas stations later down the road 5 years from now. And then there's the lights and all these other considerations and traffic, and it just turns. So I don't know. These zoning things are complicated, but nonetheless, every single article says Dave Chappelle is against affordable housing. And I doubt that is the case.
Well, yeah, exactly. And look, I would love to play a bit of video where he's explaining, no, actually what I want is more affordable housing. This plan would have limited it. I don't want that, but there's room for a new plan. Maybe that statement is forthcoming. Maybe today his publicist will put out something, but there is no clarification after a day of he's trying to kill the affordable housing. Now, there have been other people who opposed it who said, we're doing it for all of these different reasons, not because we have opposed the affordable housing. So that's entirely possible. Also, though, generally when people oppose things moving to their neighborhood, they don't generally just come out and say it. So we can't be sure that if that little bit of nuance is added, that it isn't self-serving and not actually reflective of why they're opposing it. So I'm just saying, I can't say definitively exactly what's going on. It seems inconsistent with much of his commentary, to say screw affordable housing. That doesn't seem consistent with his comedy going back literally decades. But on the other hand, some critics will say, well, he's wealthy now. He's been wealthy for a long time, so maybe he's changed. I don't know. I just hope
maybe he just hates condos, hates condominiums, just hates them.
I can see that.
Because in a lot of developments, and we see this in LA County too, they'll sort of bribe or sort of cajole, or however they get development started, they will convince people that it's a good idea by adding 50 affordable units to it to sort of sweeten the deal and make it sort of, oh, well, okay, now it's irresistible. And then it's undefined as to how long those units will stay affordable, and for whom, and how much will they cost. And I think we see this in a lot of cities as well. So it's hard to say what the opposition is exactly. But I don't live there. And
well, do you you said you were born there. Do you have any lingering knowledge of when they say these homes are going to start at about 300,000? Do you have any idea of what that means in the context of that area?
It's really expensive. I mean, for Ohio, but we're seeing these elevated real estate prices wherever we are. And Ohio is, listen, it's about to be transformed by this new microprocessor, Intel microprocessor plant in Columbus, Ohio. It'll be the largest chip maker on the planet. Will be in Columbus. And where my mom lives there in a rural community, those values will be completely unaffordable for anyone who lives there, and rents will go up. But we're seeing this in all these sort of
buy now.
Basically, get your ass in there now and buy. Absolutely, snap things up at 310, 360, 380, because it'll be 640 in about 2 years. No joke. Yellow Springs is a very nice town too. It's a progressive, nice, idyllic Ohio community with a college. So a lot of these small towns, like where I grew up too, they have like a stranglehold on maintaining the status quo, not changing the complexion of it. Sure. I don't mean that in a racial way. I just mean like keeping it small, keeping it, preserve it. And zoning is very strict in these places. You can't even put an awning out without having a meeting. So, or a sign or something, So I don't know. But he is doing a comedy club there, and it looks kind of, I don't know, that there's going to be a comedy club and there's going to be a restaurant he's building. And I think is that the 60 million he's talking about?
I think he's referencing overall what the company is worth. I don't know exactly what the investment specifically there would be, but it seems significant. It seems like millions of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, we to add one more layer to the way most people respond to this, we have no idea what the vote would have been had he not shown up. Like maybe it would have been 2-2 anyway. Maybe he isn't an emperor in that area. I don't know. We will see.
It was a 2-2 vote. So apparently I thought it was interesting that there's no tiebreaker for these kinds of things. Like so I guess the project does not go forward if it's a 2-2 vote. Okay, exactly. Good to know. If you're building in Yellow Springs, heads up.
Yeah, invest in that third vote. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.